Okay, so again I'm just gonna have to check that we can hear and everything, but what I'm gonna do now is explore gamma. And I think the goal of this will be roughly the same. Purpose of this script is to check that we can get gamma 1b to predict next token on some string like hi there. So I know we have import gamma, and then the question is where it is. I hope it is. It's not in there. I was hoping it was gonna be in my local one. Just have to think if I want it, because I have it downloaded and underscore file. That's pretty good. And then I will close this one and put gamma. That's also very good. And there. Okay, that was pretty easy. Now I think the thing is we're here. We are taking in gamma import geom, and then I want a model dot mod dot in and dot gamma 3.1b. That's the one I care about. Maximum recursion depth exceeded. That's because so it's just really beneficial if I can feel that I have access to the code directly. So what I'm doing here is I'm just like adding another branch because I think I might end up doing some changes and so on. It is circular dependency. This is often encountered when a library like Gamma in this case uses lazy loading as suggested. The message connected is informational. Here's when you can pinpoint recursions happening. Try and no. Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. I'll make another environment. Qwen3. Okay, and then I will say source. And then I will, in here I'll see not Gamma stuff. So what we found was that something about my huge default vent was not working. So maybe if I just make a new package where I install the necessities like transformers and so on and Qwen, then it will be good. Might take a bit of a while, so let's just start looking already here into projects, git clones, Gamma. So they have a gm.nn Gamma, and here we have all this transformer stuff, transformer config, and I think actually it's gonna be here that we put in some other stuff. I think we could do that, so let's just write some notes here. So why am I thinking this? It's because, look, we have this class inside the Gamma library. Inside the Gamma library they have a file called transformer.py, and inside here we can see that there are a bunch of parameters that tells us how deep is Gamma 2b. It has this many tokens in its vocabulary, it has this embedding dimensionality and all these things. So it would make sense that we would want to write something like class method define Qwen gamma 06b, and so on, and then try to adapt the stuff to be ready for that. Maybe. And then we have gamma, we have a bunch of different things here, and they are now saying the configuration is going to be the configuration that we saw in here, and then we are going to have a checkpoint path. And we can see that this is the place where we save the models parameters, so they're downloading them from some Google storage. So checkpoint path, it could also be that we could literally just write a file in here or something, maybe not. And then so then they have that, and then they have the transformer itself. This is a class inside transformer, and here we have merge embeddings, encode, all this stuff, get inputs. This is the kind of stuff that we would start thinking about, whether there are differences in the architecture and so on. So the first thing might be to get the inputs, encode the tokens, including the vision embeddings, x inputs.embeddings, this thing here. So, okay, now I'm going to go into this thing and continue to find out if we can get some, did we install it? Installed everything. Doesn't do anything bad there. And here I'm going to close down this and load it again. So before we had the problem with the recursion, and now we reinstall the library, and we want to get this up here. And it's still not happy with it. That's kind of sucks. But is it the right sandbox? It's not. So I was still using the big van that I usually use, and now I'm going to install Jupyter also. And now it's doing something, it looks like. And then once we have that, we are going to get the checkpoints. This is the actual parameters, this is the architecture in a sense. And these are gonna be on the order, oh, that's not the one I want. Stop it. this is 4B, I want 1B. And IT means instruction tuned. This is fine. This is instruction tuned is where they have not just pre-trained it to predict the next token, but also trained it to be a chatbot or like some kind of thing that is a bit like that. So 1 billion parameters, that's equal to 1 giga. And then they have 2 bytes per parameter, because bfloat16 is 16 bits, 1 byte is 8, so it's 2 bytes. And so 2 gigabytes, that's what roughly one would expect the number of parameters to be. And in this case, it's probably downloading it from the Google servers, and we might wanna see if there is some kind of path here. Path. Look, you can use the sharding. KD. Sharding is how you split the matrices across different TPUs, and Qwen3 and has some kind of implementation of sharding. Sharding API. I never heard about ePath before. What is ePath? Sounds not exactly like what we want. But I'm looking for a sandbox. It's no, it's an etils. So it's just because, of course, I do not want to load them from the internet all the time. I want something, some kind of caching. Stuck 0 and will be aborted. Oh, nice. Save params. That was what I was looking for. The parameters in some kind of ePath. That's what I want to do afterwards. Something like this. And then I'll say I don't know what the ending of it is, maybe just like this. Okay, but we have a problem. Because it seems I cannot download it right. Has been stuck at 0 bytes and will be aborted. The transmission of request. I did not have to do that last time I was downloading it. I don't quite get it actually. That works fine. So I do not need it. There's something with my connection, something that just does not work. Yeah, I still have problems that I do not know how to get it, and they say I'm gonna just go in here. This kind of is weird. Oh, what is this? Looks good though. Almost. It does not mean that it was working, of course, just because it was staying there. Oh man. Now I'm getting impatient. I just have to be patient. I'm surprised it cannot infer that I just want to choose utility instead of thinking that I might want something else. It's actually a thing that's very common with these chatbots, I think. You're having some problem, and then instead of knowing when they should try to just solve the problem, they will often look for alternatives. Okay. What is it saying here? What is it saying? Whoa. Why does that happen that usually doesn't happen? I'm so confused. I think it's a very simple thing I'm trying to do that doesn't work. So it sounds like it was there. Somehow it's just very slow. Okay, I was almost there. I'll just be patient now, and since I was getting a bit frustrated, I might just return when it actually had downloaded.